beautiful lady. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, my beautiful friend.
I'm very happy. No, really, really, very, very happy to have you here. I was looking forward to join
Me
with
too.
you
Me too.
sometime. Yes.
Where's those dogs?
Ah, the dogs. I closed the door since we are recording.
Perfect.
And,
Perfect.
and I only have one dog today, Mr. Toy, my
Oh,
dog, which when we finish goes to the shower.
oh, nice. Gets a bath, as we say. Yes.
It's a bath because the poor
Yesterday
dog.
I Oh
Huh?
yeah, because they stink.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was on a podcast with a friend of mine, and she has two French bulldogs, little black, great big
Yes.
ears.
Yeah, with that.
Yeah, exactly. They're adorable. And the female's name is Violet.
Ah, beautiful.
And we were towards the end of our podcast, and Violet came in whatever room was and started barking and my friend was like, "Oh my God, of course, it's in the middle of my podcast, like blah." And I leaned forward and I said, "Violet, where's that Violet? Violet." And this little head like boop popped up like boop and
So
and
beautiful.
yeah, and Jules, and she picked up Violet and held her toward the camera, and I'm like, Violet, there she is. And Violet went like this,
Yeah.
and she turned around and put her head on her mommy's shoulder,
Yeah.
and Jules was, holding her
Yeah.
and rubbing her, and we talked a little bit more. And then after we stopped the recording, she said, it's so crazy to me. When I met you, the two times I've met you, you're very calming. Like
Mm,
you have such a just
yeah.
calming thing. And even Violet, I've never seen her do that. She just relaxed. So I allowed that to make me feel good.
Well done. Well done. I love that because yes, you have a very calming energy. Because at the end, you have this energy that is you, authentically you, and it's from the heart. So anything that comes from the heart, it's peace and calmness.
That's interesting because I self-regard as I have a lot of energy and I'm very like the furthest thing away from calm, pretty
Yeah,
much. That's
but
it's
yes.
a gift of perception
Mm-hmm.
between how we see ourselves and how someone else does.
Yes, and I
Yep.
believe you have the energy of the motivation, of the inspiration, of the energy of moving people. You have that. But you also have the energy of since you show trust. You show many things that people can rely on you or
Mm.
dogs, and hence that's very calming. That's you're very trustable because you are open hearted and it's you, so you're trustable and that gives peace.
Hmm. Thank you for that. I had no idea. That's how I feel when I'm in conversation with Colin.
Yes.
Very like
Yeah.
positive for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
Mm-hmm.
did
Calming
you get
down.
that vibe off him too?
Yeah, every time I meet with Colin Smith, I love when he says, when we start, he says, "How are you arriving?" Because we are arriving, we are placing ourselves, we are being now, and we are listening now, and we are sharing from this beingness. So we are arriving to a conversation, and I love
I
that.
like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
And as with everything we do, to be intentional, to
Mm-hmm.
have that sense of either that, how am I arriving? And for me also, what is my intention for this interaction?
Mm-hmm.
Is my intention to be helpful? Is my intention to be receptive? Is my intention to be your best friend? Is my intention, because I think for me anyway, if I set that intention, that's what happens.
Yes. And intention at the end is also this beingness, no? Because you are intending something through your being. It's not a doing, it's a
Oh, I see.
being.
Yes,
Yes, no?
yes,
So
yes,
since you are here with the intention to give, to be listening, or it's always an intention of your being, not
yes.
of your heart towards what's outside, towards the other person, the relationship you're holding at the moment. And that's why it's also very calming.
Well, yes, and it's also very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
We need to tell our mind that to allow our presence or our soul to be that.
Yeah.
Once we've decided to be that, it is.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't any I wonder or gee whiz or, it is. Being is
Yes.
done, right?
Yes. 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 And that's the beauty. There's no having to. There's nothing because it's being done. No mind interacting with the the being in the moment. Mm.
So when was the last time you got a haircut?
uh, 4 weeks ago or something.
Wow.
This why?
And yes,
The
trim
ends.
split ends. Yes,
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago.
beautiful. It's very, very long.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to keep it nice. It's difficult because I swim at least 4 days a week for 1 hour.
Chlorine destroys hair.
Yes, and what I do, I put olive oil the night
Yeah.
before. I sleep
Oh,
with
yeah.
olive oil in the hair. And then when I'm going to swim, before I put I do
Braid.
a bread,
Braid.
bread, and I put it in a plastic bag
Yes.
from
And
here. And I do this, and then I have the cap, a normal
nice.
cap.
Yeah, yeah. Normal swimming cap. Yeah,
Yeah,
because chlorine is very destructive and
it's
to our skin
drying.
also.
It dries out.
Hmm.
But it's yeah, it's distracting, but at the same time, I think also, well, it's since you're swimming, you're oxygenating a lot.
Absolutely.
Mm,
And you could always swim in the med, yeah?
yeah,
No
I could.
chlorine.
For me, it's a little bit cold, but yes. And then further away.
Well, yeah, I understand.
But yes,
I
yes.
couldn't believe it when I first got in there in Barcelona. The
Yeah.
buoyancy and the salt. Of course, I was on a windsurfer beach. It was a
Hmm.
windsurfing club in their part of the beach, and nude gay beach.
Ah, yeah, next door
And
on the left.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
where you
next
were.
door,
I
all
know
the
where you
guys
were.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, no thanks. And my friend who brought me said it's shallow and then it drops, but she didn't say how close that is to the shore, the drop,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like walking and like woo, and then boom,
Boom.
down the drop. So of course I got a nose and mouth full of salt water, and it was brilliant. I came up and whatever, and then went back down and opened my eyes, and it was so clear, and it was so, here I live on a big lake, Lake Michigan,
Hmm.
but it's not clear like that,
Mm.
and I've only seen clear water like that in the Caribbean. So it
Mm.
was just so the whole thing, the color, the salt, the smell, the buoyancy, that first day was like, holy moly, that was very
Yeah. Very, very, very you and calming you. It's
Well,
the sea, any sea, no? The sea is the water for me. Being a sea or a swimming pool, the water is very calming.
for me, looking at water,
Yeah.
hearing water and seeing water is very calming.
Mm.
But my soul lives in the mountains,
Oh, so you're more a mountain girl.
pine trees and mountains,
Wow. Mm.
silence. Yeah.
Hmm. I like that. I remember when I was small, we went a lot to the mountains in Italy and then
Which
Switzerland,
one?
but in Italy.
Which
Very,
ones? Apennini or which ones?
I don't remember. It was,
Oh,
but it was upstate from
in
Milan up.
Dolomiti.
Yeah, it's what was the name? San Sicario. I have to
Oh,
see
same,
where it was.
same.
Well, up and right, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
San Sicario was very nice. Every winter, my father loved to ski.
I'm a snow baby.
Yes. Oh, I am always cold.
Well, I am
Yes.
too, but still, I will take snow any day over 40
Ah,
degrees
yeah.
Celsius.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh.
No, no, no,
Mm.
no. No, hot weather, no.
Mm, mm.
But that's life. Your light is white, my light is black. Your soul is the water, my soul is the mountains. You're a summer hot person, I'm a cold person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This is what makes the world so interesting.
yeah.
And the interesting thing is maybe opposites, tal vez, no sé, pero opposites,
Attract.
same person. No, same,
Mm, mm,
same, one,
mm,
all one.
mm. Yeah.
Those
Well,
things don't matter.
yeah, we at the end we also everyone is we all are one. And just to highlight why you're saying white, because if someone is
Yeah,
listening white and you black, it's not just because of that. It's just because when we meditate, now when I meditate, I see a white light and you see a darkness. And that's why you're saying you white and
yes,
I dark.
yes,
Yes.
yes. The white light and the
Mm-hmm.
blackness of the universe. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
both
Mm-hmm.
are limitless.
Both are limitless. Yes. It's nice. I love the fact that, and I always, well, I've said it lately, I didn't say it always, because we are taught to listen to gurus and follow steps, no, of people. And I've learned that everyone lives their life and everyone has their experience their own way, no, and their growth their own way. So this is an example. When I meditate, I see the white light, and maybe from the white I go to the universe, and you see the dark. And it doesn't mean that either one is correct, because someone else might see red. I don't know, something completely different, and feels this wholeness and oneness around, but with a red light, or with,
Absolutely.
I don't
Or
know,
purple
people
or
jumping
blue or
around, or I don't know,
whatever. Yeah,
whatever. So it's really uh, important to understand that there's no one size fits all.
no,
Never, never,
no.
because we are authentic. And you highlighted a lot, and I love that in your posts, the authenticity. There's always authenticity, because, and I say uniqueness, no? Because we all are the same, but we all are unique. Everyone
Absolutely.
has something unique.
Yes. To me, authenticity and uniqueness are two different things
Mm-hmm.
because we are all unique in a way. It's a difficult container to hold two opposites in, but
Mm-hmm.
we're unique and yet we're all the same.
Yes.
So this is very difficult for people to assimilate. Yeah. But we are unique, all of us, but not all of us are authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, to live in this realm of sameness, oneness, and uniqueness at the same time requires our soul. Authenticity has to do with our head
Yeah.
of what will people think, what
Mm.
will people say, I that will make me look foolish. That those are so again, oneness, the conundrum of oneness and uniqueness is a soul conundrum, but
Yeah.
authenticity is totally a head thing.
Yes. Yes. It's what I felt when you did the differentiation between uniqueness and authenticity. Authenticity, I felt it more into what people see from me. So it's more mental. So it's and also what you see of yourself, no? Because at the end we are in our heads a lot. So
Yeah.
it's really you're pushing or you are showing people to be authentic in how they see themselves, to dare to be authentic, no? In this case, because daring comes from the mind.
To value themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Really, for me, that's what I'm helping with,
Yeah.
to value yourself enough that I don't care what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice if you think good things, and it's not so nice if you think bad things. But no matter what you think, that has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't really care. If
Mm-hmm.
it's someone we care about, uh, I have to think carefully about what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
My point is what's external to us, which is other people. It's important that that doesn't internalize.
Yeah.
That's not our business.
No.
Your business is yourself. My business is myself. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I mean when I say I don't care what you think. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean that in a disrespectful way or a like that
Yeah.
kind of way. And I suppose a nicer way to say that would be regardless of what you think, I still know
Mm.
who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But
I love that.
when you're with someone that you care for, that you're invested in, or you're committed to, or whatever, it's also important to allow what they're thinking. It's
Yeah.
important to acknowledge what they're thinking and modify our behavior accordingly, or our words. Things like, I'm so sorry, Jeannette, that's not at all what I meant when I said that, instead of just continuing on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's another difficult container to maintain of, I don't really care what you think, but I do, because what I just said landed with you not in the way I intended, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hurtful to you, and I need to rectify that.
Yeah.
So that's also hard to hold in the same space, the two seemingly opposite ideas of I don't care, but I do care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the but I do care part only happens when we're with people we're vested in at some level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 So we go back into the perception also. The
Yes.
perception of what I'm saying, how you take it, and for me also to understand that the way I said it not necessarily is the way you took it.
Quite.
No,
And
so
this happens all the time. And
all the time.
to differentiate like that requires a certain level of awareness,
Mm-hmm.
because all day, every day, we meet people who just like blah, 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 blah. They never even think like,
Yeah.
how is that landing with someone?
Yeah.
Or what do they, and it's an acquired skill to be able to discern. Well, discernment is an acquired skill,
Yeah.
but also the desire to, it's important to me that you understand what I'm saying and the manner in which I meant it. Both
Yes.
of those things are important to me. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't care about that because they just have to say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? It in no way involves the other person.
No.
And it also speaks to control because I can certainly control what I say, but what I cannot control is how that lands with you. And so that's why it's so very important for me to be completely present with you so that I can see your face and read your mind to be able to say, "Oh, whoops, she didn't
Mm-hmm.
get what I meant."
Mm-hmm.
That's super important. And a lot of people, most people aren't operating at that level.
No, no. It's like you were saying, they just share and it's for you to listen. Whatever you listen, it's okay. They said it. No, because there are many that just need to be listened, but they don't even listen to themselves either. They
Oh
just
yeah.
put
They
it
don't
out.
know how to listen.
No,
They
they
only
don't
know
know.
how to speak.
No,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And that's also because there's no awareness of observing yourself, and there's no awareness of anything, just blurring out things, living in the day, doing, and not even thinking of how you're projecting things or expressing words to the outside world. You're just taking them out, and that's it.
Spewing, as we say,
Yeah, yeah.
spewing words, yes. And could maybe another way of saying that be that there's a disconnect between when you and I are in conversation, we're together,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
even though you're in Barcelona and I'm in Chicago, we're
Mm-hmm.
together here.
Yes.
And there's two of us here. There isn't only one person, there's two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I mean by the disconnect is that these people who spew are disconnected from the fact that there's two people
Yeah.
and that two people necessarily regard things and hear things differently.
Yes.
So it's a huge disconnect.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we've all been in conversations where I'm talking and the person I'm speaking to, I totally know is just waiting for me to shut up
Yeah.
so they can talk.
If they wait. I lost it. Ah, there you are.
Yeah. They're waiting. They're just waiting. And usually that's immediately apparent, right? Because they're fidgety and as soon as we see that, we know they didn't hear a word I
No.
just said. They didn't hear anything. Or maybe they heard the first three words and they went away.
Yes.
They weren't
Yes.
present at
No.
all. And
No.
all they can do is that. Or the person you're in conversation with that 5 minutes later comes back to, oh, did you say that when you put olive oil on your hair, you put it in? Okay, we finished that 10 minutes ago, and they're still there with that. And that's interesting to me because if you didn't understand when you were explaining to me your swimming pool, your chlorine preventative measures, if I didn't understand, I would have said, oh, wait, I don't understand. Did you say you put a plastic thing and then a swim cap? I would have asked
Yes.
because I value myself and I value you and I want to know. I'm interested and I want to know, and you can help me be clear about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does that speak to in the person who doesn't ask and yet comes back to that 10 minutes later? What does that speak to?
They were not there in the moment.
And also, I think I agree, but I think it also speaks to how they do or do not value themselves.
Mm-hmm.
enough to say right then, oh, hey, wait a minute, I have a
Mm,
question, or I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Could you
mm,
say that a different way? Or they don't, they're unable to
mm,
communicate that way, and that speaks to how they value
mm.
themselves.
So they're insecure.
Conceivably, yes.
Mm, yeah.
And yet they can't let go.
No, no, they
They must
stay.
come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so this is interesting, and this is why another thing that I so love about Colin Smith is the importance of complete present listening,
Mm-hmm.
in which you have nothing to say, you have no agenda, you have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to say,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to add anything unless you're asked to, just undiluted presence and mental focus on someone else. And that's just so extraordinarily difficult for people, right?
Yes. Yes, because people are already thinking, like you were saying before, they're listening to you and just hear the first three words and are already thinking what you haven't finished talking. They already know what you are going to say, and they go with that, what they have in their mind. They're waiting for you to finish. Sometimes they don't even wait and they jump in with what they thought you were going to say. And boom, they just say it. And sometimes you're like, hmm, okay. Number one, when you are in observation, you say, well, this person didn't listen to me. This person is just wanting to share, but not to listen. And I better stay quiet because they're not going to listen. So I listen to them, and that's it. They
Yeah,
need
so why speak?
yeah, when I speak, I just stay, I listen to them. They need someone to listen. I listen to them, and that's okay. And I don't share anything. It's okay. I don't have to share
Yeah, I completely agree, but that's not really a great
conversation.
conversation or experience or relationship,
A
right?
relationship specifically.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I lived with a family member that happened all the time, and I could see on her face the moment she left.
Mm,
And what
yeah.
would happen, I did a lot of kind of research on this. The dynamic of this is we've said something we articulated triggered something else in that person. And
Mm,
it was enough of a trigger that their mind immediately, like all these voices are,
mm-hmm.
and that's so loud, they've totally checked out of the conversation. And it's like you have dogs, you walk your dogs, there's a squirrel, and the dogs are like, what?
Yeah.
No, right? It's that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
And so this trigger totally redirects their attention. And to put it in my terminology, they have just written their own script. They're
Mm-hmm.
no longer reading my script,
Yeah.
they're writing their own. And then if after the fact you bring that back into the conversation and ask them, and if they're the kind of person that they're willing to tell you, it becomes very obvious that they're reading a completely different script.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the conversation whatsoever. And this is all unconscious, that they
Mm-hmm.
don't even get that they're
No.
doing that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that fascinates me because that's also the type of person that when you speak to them when you say something to them, what do you mean by that? I mean exactly what I said.
Yeah. There's
What's
no.
that supposed to mean? It's not supposed to mean anything. It means what I said. And so if you kind of pull that apart, it's an inability to take something at face value. It's
Mm,
a lack of trust. What you say to me, I listen and I accept, I believe,
yeah.
because you're saying something. I would never imagine that. you mean something different from what you're saying.
Not just saying, yeah.
These are people who live their life convinced that what we're saying is not what we really mean. And so, where does that inclination come from? And that's our childhood, where we're not allowed to speak freely, or we're punished if we speak
Mm-hmm.
freely, or we're shut down
Mm-hmm.
if we speak freely, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's that type of environment.
Mm-hmm.
But these are very obvious, distinct verbal cues in people. Another one being, well, who do you think you are? I don't think I'm anyone. I know who I am,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So these language patterns and the that happens with that. I've tracked this for a long time, and this fascinates me because imagine living in a world where nothing you hear, no one
Mm-hmm.
you have no idea what they mean. You can never be sure. And instead of saying that to yourself, I can never be sure, instead, at some subconscious level, what you're saying is, I'm sure you don't mean that.
Mm-hmm. You're pushing it out.
It's you're saying something bad about me, or
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to make me feel bad, or I mean, obviously, it's a victim
Yeah,
mentality, but underlying that victim mentality is something that's very sad, right?
yeah,
Because imagine not being able to accept anything at face value. Think how confusing that would be, and how frightening that would be, and how,
yeah.
I just,
Unreal. No, not
yeah, you can't count on anything.
yeah, yeah.
So that so much speaks to trust and the lack of it you had in your home as a little
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's what you said before, you're creating your own script. So this person has their own script, and whatever you say doesn't relate to that script. So that's why it's asking, no, and not trusting nothing because it's not in the script.
Exactly.
Mm.
They were, yeah, to not be able to, just articulate
Yeah.
honestly, from the heart, from the soul of,
Mm-hmm.
gee whiz, Jeannette, I love talking to you, but sometimes I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah.
That would never be taken the wrong way.
No.
You would never take that as a slam.
No.
You would under that when we speak from our heart in that way, it will never be taken the wrong.
Taken. No. 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 No.
Whereas when we speak from a place of, and what's that supposed to mean? That's a pretty
Yes.
clear, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And then just to tail out this thing is the conversation I had over and over and over again in Poland, which
Mm.
is, do you like red wine? I have a small black dog.
What?
Hey, what? And I'd say it again. Do you like red wine? I also have a cat, right? This complete disconnect, yeah. And that's someone avoiding so much. There's something wrong with drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
like red wine? And they don't feel okay saying no
Mm-hmm.
because they're worried about what I'll think if they say no. Yeah. And so their only thing, oh, somebody's asking me something about me, so I'll give them some information about me. I have a small black dog. I also have a cat. Yeah, but that wasn't the
Not the
question,
question.
was it? And this is just so revealing when people do that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a trigger thing.
Yeah.
And there, as soon as you get that, I have a small black dog answer, their script is saying, oh, no, drinking is bad. And what if she drinks? And I don't think she's bad, but drinking is bad. And if I say yes, then that means I like to drink. And if I say no, she might think I'm, all of
Yeah, all
this
the story.
shit going on. Like, and it's just a super simple question, right?
Yes.
Rioja? Great, let's get some. Or no, okay, let's go to a coffee house. There, it
Hmm.
doesn't mean anything, but the significance that's placed on this is tremendous, and that's another big red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it has to do with like you were saying, what happened to them as little when they were little, because to be afraid not to be sincere and to hide responding something different because of the fear of not being honest, of saying the truth. It's the fear of saying the truth that it's going to be misleading. It's going to in what's all the
You'll be punished. You
yeah,
can't speak the truth. You have, in other words, I have to say what you want me to say.
yes,
I
yes.
have to say what I think you want me to
Yeah,
say.
I think you want me to say
Yes, I can't say what I think
no.
because I don't trust you because
Mm-hmm.
I think you're trying to trap me or fool me or trick me and if I do, you'll punish me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
And this is carried into
yeah,
adulthood, people,
yeah,
unless they're bitch slapped,
yeah.
to be aware
Uh,
of that, right?
yes.
Cosmically. Yeah, yeah. It's
To
interesting.
be awakened, no, awakened, that going to what you said before, it's the knowing. Well, the awakened to be. I lost the track, no, of what you were saying before. I had it here, but it's really yeah, the awakening of not being in fear of saying who they are, of being who they are, and not
Authentic.
not scanning what is around and what can happen to me if I say my truth.
Yes. And so to hear you put it that way, I guess that takes courage, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. Well, I remember myself. I remember before, not many years before, I was scared to be on camera.
Really?
Yeah, oof, a lot.
Beautiful you? My
No, thank you. No, but I was scared to be in camera, and I was scared. I remember when I moved the community, and we were when I was talking and supporting others, I was always speaking from saying, daring to be who you are, daring to be who you are. When you are daring to be who you are, it's because you are in fear,
yes.
no? And once you explore and you step in your out of your comfort zone, and every time more, and you see that no, you don't have to dare to be who you are. It's just be who you are, because nothing will happen. But I was talking like dare to be who you are.
Oh, yeah. I understand. As though there's a risk in doing that.
Yes, there's a risk. Yes.
And this is interesting psychologically because people resonate to and are inspired by people who are authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sometimes it's a wow, I wish I could be like that. But more often than not, it's like a wow, that is so powerful. I could have that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of if you have this boundary in place of I don't really care what you think and you're comfortable with who you are, there's no downside.
No,
When you think about it, there's no downside.
no, there's no downside.
And and part of what I include in the definition of being authentic is coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity from your head, kind of, that doesn't even mean anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
So inherent in being authentic is that you come from your heart, and whether people get that or not, they feel that.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yes.
definitely feel that.
Yes.
So there is no downside,
No, there's no
therefore
downside.
nothing to fear.
Yes.
And I love what you said about dare to be yourself, because that is how we think of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
overcome your fears. And do, my mission is to eradicate your fears, not
Yes.
overcome them, eliminate them, because they're groundless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're here.
yeah. But we
Nowhere
use
else.
a very common, way. When we speak like that, it's like an advertising thing, it's like, dare to be this, dare to be that,
Yeah,
dare
yeah,
to,
no.
and the connotation of that verb, to dare, does not, in our modern language, imply fear. It implies courage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how it's
Yes.
that's the meaning. Is so a synonym would be courageous enough to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Dare to be yourself,
Yeah.
right? Without at all the real meaning of overcome your fear.
Yes.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And this is the power of words and how they can be changed and shaped to mean different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. But yes, I was saying daring until one day I said, why do I say dare? Because dare relates to fear. And you don't have to have any fear in being who you are, because like when we are, nothing wrong happens outside, and whatever people think, it will be always from their shoes, not your shoes. So you will be, if you when you are from the heart, like you were saying, authentically from the heart. So when you are in the heart and you just are love, we are love, no, because we are oneness. But so you are not hurting anyone, you will never disrespect anyone, you will never not value anyone, because you know everyone is the same as you are.
No, it's perceived. It's not even
No,
possible.
no, it's not possible at all. So there's no daring, there's just
Hmm.
being.
Yeah, big fear of exposure in
Mm-hmm.
and the same people who are afraid to look inside, that it's all
Yes.
fear driven, right? The bottom line is it's all fear driven.
Yes.
I'm afraid of showing myself for what other people think. I'm afraid to look inside myself for fear
Mm-hmm.
of what I'll find. I'm afraid to get close to that person because I'm sure they're going to screw me or betray me or something bad. I'm afraid to, so it's obviously fear driven, but it's also a fear of understanding,
Yeah.
of acquiring knowledge,
Yes.
of of
Expanding.
expanding, of obtaining truth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and if you put it that way, I had one of my clients say, "I'm all about the truth." Well, yeah, no, you're not at all. Like, you might want to, let's talk about that for a while. So truth is another word that, and particularly in the 60s and during the Cold War, as an American, of course, the great enemy was Russia.
Russia, yeah.
And Pravda was their media, biggest media outlet thing, Pravda. And Pravda, the word, means truth,
Mm.
which I always found so, because it was anything but, right? It's
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
propaganda, it's
Media,
political
yeah.
propaganda, media, but that word means truth. And so that was consciously designed with that word because of the power attached to that word.
Mm-hmm.
This is the truth, according to whom?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is another, like with this lady, this client of, oh, I'm all about the truth. Whose truth? what exactly is truth? And what we got down to was, to her, truth is what she perceives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Her truth.
Part of that's true, but being in the a film person, that's an Akira Kurosawa movie, that seven people witnessed the same thing and everyone saw it differently.
Yes.
Okay, well, that was their truth.
Yes.
Everybody would go swear that's what happened. That's what they perceived.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to do with truth.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So this is another interesting, strange and interesting place.
Yeah. Another angle. Yeah.
And when being, there's nothing to prove, there's nothing to explain, there's no action. It's a
Mm-hmm.
passive state of being, and it's inherently truthful.
Yes. Yes.
Fascinating how we words, me and
Mm-hmm.
words, but yeah, how that all works is pretty, and it's very,
Yeah.
we don't, and again, we're too busy watching Netflix, right? We know, when do we sit still and silently and think about, hmm, I wonder what I really think truth means. Who does that, man? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when, yes, it's this, yeah, when we are calm inside, it's when we are able to grasp all those things and observe and see what how they affect us and what it really is.
And also, would you not say, when we're able to receive insight?
Mm-hmm. Yes, intuition and insights. Yes, that you suddenly say, "Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, yeah."
Hmm.
It's like the well, what you were saying, uniqueness, authenticity, no? Um, when you were explaining so beautifully, for me, really uniqueness is what you were saying. Uniqueness comes from the being. Uniqueness and when you said authenticity, you use it because it's of the mind, and it's really, it's true, no? And it feels very very right, no? But for me, uniqueness came from an intuition,
Oh,
a love, uniqueness, and co-creation that they came through me, and I guess through the experiencing, of in the PI Move community, that I started understanding, for me, who we are, that we are love, uniqueness, and co-creation. But it didn't come like this from the mind. It came
right.
from the creation through the being, from being still, from listening inside, from you know,
Absolutely.
like yeah, through leadership, all
Stillness
those
and
things.
silence.
Hmm?
Yes, stillness. It's so important.
Yeah.
And it's a game I play with people of, how long can you shut up?
Mm-hmm.
I'm timing you. How long? And this is just so incredibly, you and I have, and Colin also, silence makes people extremely uncomfortable.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
void that needs to be filled. And nature abhors a vacuum. It's a vacuum that needs to be filled. And so, at some level, and I don't know where this came from, or if it's our culture, nature or nurture, I'm not sure. But this idea that being silent and still is useless
Mm-hmm.
is part of our Western culture,
Mm-hmm.
because you're supposed to be doing and striving and
Yeah.
da da da. And note the words I used. You're supposed to be
Yeah, supposed
da
to.
da 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 da. And we've been programmed to completely devalue silence and stillness.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote an article on, the title was Numb is the New Normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is constant Netflix, constant social media, constant apps on our phones,
Yeah.
constant on the phone, da da da, go here, go there. Oh, I need to go out and get this. Oh, I need to go out and buy something else. Non-stop, dude. It's non-stop. And all of this, the cumulative effect of this is an artificial busyness that numbs us and keeps us from looking inward
Yes.
because we're scared to death.
Yes.
So instead, it's isn't it easier to watch Netflix? And mind you, I'm not saying any of that's bad, but there's a time and a place for everything. But we've come so far away from sitting in silent stillness that we can't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
People get so I was dog sitting for some friends of mine, and the woman is my age, and her parents and my parents were very good friends. So much so that she referred to my parents as her aunt and uncle,
Okay.
that kind of close
Yeah.
friends. And I was dog sitting. They were in Mexico. They came back from their trip and they wanted me to stay to, hang out with them and hear about their trip, whatever, another couple days. I'm like, yeah, great. So in the mornings, I their property is in a forest,
Mm-hmm.
and toward the front of the house is a giant oak tree.
Mm.
The sun comes up behind that tree.
Mm.
And in the back is a big deck with a big grass, but then woodland. So
Mm.
it's very tranquil. It's very conducive to
Yeah.
meditation. Yeah. So I was outside, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, outside meditating, and she came out onto the deck and immediately started talking. And I said, sweetheart, sweetheart, please, I'm so sorry, but I'm meditating right now. I need like 20 minutes and then I'm all yours. Please. Okay. Turned around, lit a cigarette, and started talking again. And I'm like, Maureen, please, please, I'm meditating. I don't want to hear you talking. I'm not here to talk. This is my precious morning, still being nice. And she wouldn't shut up. And I got angry. And I was like, okay, thank you. I'm leaving now. And I went back in the house and threw the house out the front door because by now the sky was lightening and it was in the
Mm-hmm.
summer. So the sun rises so early. She followed me with the cigarette and the coffee. And I turned around and I went, no, like this, right in her face. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, no, go back on the deck. Leave me alone. You're destroying my morning. I will not have this. Please don't make me get in my car and drive somewhere to get away from you. And she started to cry. I
Mm.
didn't care. And I said, okay, and crying, I said, there's no reason to be dramatic. It's fine. It's not a confrontation, but you are invading something precious to me, and I've said it nicely to you 3 times, and you're not honoring me. And so that's not okay. Okay. And she and went back in the house. And of course, now my nervous system is like
Yeah.
buzzing, and but I regained my center, and the sun, when you close your eyes and the sun is
Mm.
right in your
Yes.
eyes, and you close your eyes, and that heat and that radiance
Mm.
floods your body. So excellent. I heard I was finished. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I heard the door open. And I turned around and she was like sticking her head out. Is she done yet? Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm finished. And thank you so much for allowing me to finish. And now, so in this 15 minutes, she's been in the house arguing with herself and with me. I know how to be quiet. I don't know why Jennifer said that to me. I know how to be quiet. Well, no, you fucking don't because you didn't. Whatever. So she came out. This has been building and
Yeah, yeah.
I've just drained all the agita out of my body. She's just amplified all the agita in her body, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure this has happened to you. You meet that person, and that's like an ice cold wave
Yes.
of
Well,
water,
yeah.
like, like, what? Right?
Yes. Yes.
So I said, I can see you have something on your mind. What's going on? Well, and it started off dramatically. I know how to be quiet and blah, 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 blah. And I know how to. I said, okay, okay, let's do this. So I got my phone and I set a stopwatch. I said, okay, let's see. And I started the stopwatch. How long do you think she could be quiet?
5 seconds. No?
It was 47 seconds.
Mm.
And so this is the world most of us live in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the world most of us live in on autopilot with
Yes.
no thought, with no concern. And I remember so clearly the first time I ever read Deepak Chopra, I believe it was, talking about practicing stillness and silence.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was something like, well, you only have to do it for 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes and move up. And even then, I kind of laughed because I was like, there have been times that I've gone an entire day without speaking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So for me, the challenge was to be still. Silence wasn't, which you'd never know from this conversation. Silence wasn't a challenge, but stillness was for me. But I mastered that eventually. So it's just very hard for us, completely lacking in awareness of being comfortable with just being
Yeah.
and being fearless about whatever we encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big ask for 90% of people.
Yes. Merely to be aware that you are just not in stillness, that you're not taking time for yourself. And people, when you say take time for yourself, they say, yes, I'm taking, I'm watching Netflix, or I don't know, doing this. It's doing, doing, doing. No, 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 no. Be
Being,
with yourself. Be with yourself.
oh no, not an
No,
option.
no, because I have to do this.
Yes. And underlying that is that, oh no, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then I'll have to observe what I'm thinking, and no, no, no.
Yeah,
It's
not
better
an
just to continue in the conversations I have, and
Yeah.
listen to the mind, and that's it. There's nothing else than the mind.
Hmm.
No? It's
I think
really.
this is a big misnomer with this. You know how much I hate jargon, this whole self-care. Okay.
Mm,
Self-care does not mean eating a box of bonbons, watching
no,
Netflix. That
no,
is not self-care.
no.
Self-care does not mean going to a spa and having a facial and a massage or what.
Mm,
None of that means self-care.
no.
And that's what our meaning of it is.
Yeah.
Self-care has come to mean take time to do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
I think makes me that numbs me more and makes me feel better.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with self-care.
No. With the insight. Mm,
When self-care first started coming out, I still lived in Los Angeles. And
Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation with a producer's wife who was all like, "Oh yeah, I'm connected. I'm part of,
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, "Wow, self-care came up," and she said, "Oh yes, I'm all over self-care." I said, "Really? What's your practice?" And she said, "What do you mean practice?" I said, "Oh, well, so what do you do for self-care?" Rodeo Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay. Shopping.
Mm-hmm.
That's self-care. I'm worth the 20, 30, 40, $80,000 I just spent on a handbag and a pair of shoes. That's
Yes.
self-care.
Yeah.
And I just don't really know what to even say to that other
Mm.
than my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
Because you gotta want it, no?
Yeah, yeah, and yes, that's why you have to be cosmically bitch slapped for you to awaken and understand that that's not self-care. But it's because it's how we been educated to it's always in the outside. Nothing is inside. It's always the outside. So you never think in the inside until you are cosmically bitch slapped to say, okay, what's happening here? Now, what do I feel inside? And many times it's not because you stopped and looked into what you're feeling inside. It's because the feeling inside, the emotion is so strong that you have to go in, or you are in because you are feeling it, that it's projecting outwards, no, what you have inside. So for the mind to get in awareness of what's happening inside.
I agree. And I'll share something that just happened to me very recently about that is I'm fortunate to have always been a very self-aware person, but I've recently changed my mind about the external and the internal.
Mm-hmm.
Not changed my mind. I'm entertaining a different possibility that I never had
Mm-hmm.
before.
Uh-huh.
Is
Nice.
the external is our mind. The
Mm.
internal is not. There
Yeah.
is no mind in the internal.
No.
And the internal is feeling and being. The external is thinking and doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is different from what I used to think because I used to think that I look inside myself and I find things. I always think of it as finding things, discovering things that I then think about to arrive at a conclusion of
Mm.
if they're useful or if they're necessary or if they're okay, well, that's the imposition of conditionality. There is no analysis
No.
required.
No.
All that's necessary, and there is no, it all serves a purpose. Analysis is futile. There's no reason for that.
No.
It is. It
Yeah.
just is. And so this is a fairly recent revelation to me that I'm now pretty 100% behind
Mm-hmm.
is the external has to do with thought and action and analysis and evaluation, and the inside is only acceptance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being, feeling, and accepting all
Yes.
of that,
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yes. I'm with you because, for instance, I've been always hearing, no, you have to, from therapy or new age therapy, so I don't know what, you have to feel what you're feeling, you know, your emotions, and then understand and analyze back and everything, the emotion. And for me that never. I don't even try. I didn't even try because for me there was no
Bullshit.
correlation into that. It's you're feeling, and And you don't have to analyze your feeling, because at the end, it's what you're saying. I'm analyzing with the mind. So what is the mind going to bring me with the heart and who I am? The mind is with the who I am. No, nothing. It's more the observance, no, of this third. I don't know how to call it, but
Yes,
it's this
the witness,
the
the witness
witness. Yeah,
observer. Yes.
the observer is the one that sees what's happening and observes. Nothing
Yep.
else. The rest happens alone. But it's observing, it's acknowledging an emotion, it's acknowledging a feeling, and it's okay. It's just acknowledging, it's knowing
And accepting.
and
This is, we
accepting.
have a
Yeah,
big problem with this, accepting whatever
accepting.
it is. Yeah.
Yes.
That was well said, and I completely agree. It's to witness without judgment and with
Mm-hmm.
complete acceptance, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And if it is something you're uncomfortable with, to grant forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
while being accepting,
Yes.
because that's the holistic, the essence of what you are.
Yes.
So would you look in a mirror if you had a scar on your right arm and cut it off, your arm? Like that's part of, and we have a very difficult time with that and a reluctance to be accepting of whatever it is we find, because it's another conditioned thing is our human proclivity for taxonomy. We have to
Mm-hmm.
label things. This
Mm-hmm.
is very important to us. It feeds into our illusion of control. Oh, I know what this is, a phone. No, it isn't. It's a fork. No, it's a phone. Yeah, no, dude, that's a fork. We need this label. We need that. This is very important to us because it makes us feel in control and safe.
Yeah.
Without realizing how much that puts us at a disadvantage and how much time and energy, precious energy, we're wasting. Who cares what it is?
Mm-hmm. Who
Does
cares
it
what it
matter?
is?
Who cares what it is,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
And and that's cool, man. If you look at this and say it's a fork, that's cool. I don't need to make you
Yeah.
understand that it's a phone. And from your point of view, I'm sure you're not like, wow, Jennifer's nuts. She thinks that's a phone. That none of that's necessary. None of that needs to exist. And that's what our days are spent doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Labeling and comparing.
Yes.
If I this, that means she that. Dude, all of that's just like not required.
No. No. Not at all. Mm.
We're compelled to do that,
Yes. Yes. It's
but we
it
overcome that.
overcome. Yeah. It goes into the 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 theories of the Earth. No, if it's a plane, if it's a flat Earth, or if it's
A
um,
sphere,
a
a
sphere.
sphere.
Yeah, okay. So I always say we won't know because we haven't been outside, no? So we really don't know. And if it is what it is what it is. So, and in reality, it's also, it depends on how I see it. So, or you know, someone might see it as a sphere and it's a sphere, it's a sphere. Okay, there are many sphere, but another one, a flat earth says it's like
The
this.
disc,
Yes,
the disc. Yeah,
yeah, a disc. So what does it matter what it is?
yeah.
Important is that we are here and we are um, acknowledging that we are living here and we have a earth to take care of, and that has us, is holding us, and that's it. It doesn't matter what it is because everyone will see it differently anyhow, because
And
it's
that's not
perception.
okay. That's not okay. As humans, that is
No,
not
no,
okay.
it's not okay. There's a
I
big,
need you to tell me, yes, Jennifer, I get that that's a phone.
yeah.
The same way the flat earth people, and underlying that, because that's the world that I love occupying, the underlying thing there is fear and insecurity.
Yeah.
Why? I don't need your approval. I don't need you to say this is a phone.
No.
And it's not from a place of this, it's just your opinion is equal to mine and you're welcome to have it. I have no need to change your mind
No.
because I have my own opinion and I'm enough and
Mm-hmm.
I'm strong and I'm not and I'm secure. I know who and what I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these people, this underlying thing is you're not okay with who you are
Mm-hmm.
unless other people agree.
Yeah.
And again, that's the realm of the external and the mind, as opposed to when was the last time you sat in still silence for 5 hours and looked inside without using your head?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is never,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So many of these things, that's the answer to so many. Has this ever, I would imagine you've thought of this, of all the things we're plagued by, of insecurity and lack and not good enough or too much, that all of that shit that plagues us, there's just one answer. And the answer is that. It's real simple. It
Yes.
isn't, you know, well, maybe this or maybe that. No,
No.
there's only one answer. It's that.
No.
And yet, apparently, that one answer is the most elusive, difficult, unobtainable state for humans to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
really to share with me and this beautiful and insightful conversation. I love that because you and I are quite well aligned in so many ways. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so much.
you. You pretty much, I was about to thank you for one of the most beautiful, extraordinary conversations I've had for a long time. And so much gratitude for not only what we have in common and the energetic power behind that, but also tremendous gratitude that you and I have the opportunity to share that and get it out in the world and inspire other people.
Yes,
That's an even more profound gift to me.
yes,
It's, we're
deeply.
we're very fortunate in that regard. Yeah.
Yes, deeply. Yes. And I love when you do this, the giving.
Ready, please. I'm ready to receive.
Thank you.